The guy's probably thirsty as hell, and I'm going to grab his jug of water.
The weigh-in's not until tomorrow, so...
That's a good point. That's a good point. How much do you have to watch it?
Pardon?
How much do you have to watch the water intake and all the food intake tonight?
At the moment, I'm trying to take in as much water as possible, help flush out the system.
That's the way it works?
Yeah, that's the way it works.
And then you're just going to strip it down tonight?
That's the way, yeah. Around about 6 p.m. tonight, I'll stop drinking water, and then hopefully my body will keep passing out the fluids.
Now, we heard you were quite the fatty on the reality show.
Really?
Yeah, well, Neil Davidson. Well, I know. I'm not one of
them. I was just looking at your stomach. It's poking out a little bit.
Look, I'm trying. I got the man boobs. But how you actually got pretty big while you were here in Vegas, right?
Yeah, I put a little bit of weight on. I wasn't fighting. My last fight was last October, so I had 9 months. So it gave me, I could relax on the diet a little bit. It's hard to stay in the shape I'm in right now. It's very, very hard to do that. You should give it a try sometime.
See, this is why Hendo doesn't like you. That kind of smart mouth. No, but you know what?
I'm the one with the smart mouth. You're the one throwing the insults around. I'm just giving as good as I get. Right?
I know you are.
And talking of that, Henderson, the one who's been opening his mouth and talking trash. Really, to be honest, I've just been responding.
What has he said that's pissed you off?
Yeah, he's called me some personal comments. He's talked about my fighting ability. It's pretty standard stuff as well, I suppose, saying he's going to knock me out, etc., etc. That's all fine, but he said some personal comments, which I weren't too keen on.
Kind of seems like there's a lot of disrespect across the board. It seems like the fan base has a lack of respect for Michael Bisping. Even the odds makers. Where's that coming from?
I don't know. It's a good question. It's fine. I just draw motivation from that. Every time I fight, people write me off and say I'm going to win. Every fight I've had, people, the general consensus is going to be that I lose most of the time. So, and every time I prove them wrong. I'm 18-1. I don't care what you say. You don't get a record in MMA of 18-1 when your only loss is a split decision to Richard. If you're not any good, if you suck at it, you're not going to get that record.
Right.
So.
And I'm actually picking you for the fight because it's important to you.
On what grounds? Why do you think I'm going to win?
Because, well, I since we do the show here in Vegas and I blog for Yahoo, I don't know what the Yahoo part has to do with it, but since I'm here in Vegas, I base my picks on value, and the odds are ridiculous on Dan. I think it's a tight fight. I think you have a great shot. Your striking is better. He has to grind out his wins. He's not a knockout fighter, and in a 3-round fight, you steal around all of a sudden a guy who's minus 300 or 280. I'm worried.
Yeah. No, I agree. People talk about, I have respect for Dan. I really do. As a fighter, I have huge respect for him. So, let me just get that in there first. But, people, this is one of the things on the internet. People say, no, I'm not going to get it out of the first round. I'm going to get knocked off with this big right hand and all the rest of it. He is known as Decision Dan Henderson for a reason. He is gone. That's what people call him. Unofficial nickname is Decision Dan Henderson. He's gone to 17 decisions, which I'm led to believe. I read it on the internet, and I know you don't believe everything you read on the internet, but apparently that's a record for the most decisions a fighter's ever gone to. So, right. And I've never been stopped or even close to being stopped. So
I like Dan Henderson, but I don't know. Now that I look back at the casting, and it's going to be a great fight, but I've said a million times the show fell flat for me. You tried. Yeah. I don't know if you did it intentionally, but he would not take the bait, and it's like there's got to be some freaking heat on the show.
Yeah, well, what can I say? You know what I mean? We're going to fight Saturday anyway, so it don't matter. He's a pretty boring guy, He said some things about me, he's called me a douchebag, which again makes me laugh, Right, we made 12 episodes of The Ultimate Fighter, and when he does finally decide to open his mouth, the most intelligent thing he can come up with is douchebag. Probably used that line since 6th grade. Oh, all right. So I'm a douchebag.
It's an oldie but a goodie, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, but whatever.
How big is this fight for? I'm sure you don't want to look ahead, but for the UK in general in MMA, because if you can win this fight, it obviously sets up a potential super fight on the home turf, maybe against Anderson Silva, which that takes the UFC and yourself to another level.
Oh, well, at the moment I'm not looking past anything, I've got an incredibly hard job to do on Saturday night, and that's what I'm focusing on. I'm not even thinking about Anderson Silva right now, but, that's what I'm hearing. Dana White just said it again there, the winner of this fight gets a title shot. So, that's huge. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Do you believe that if you guys had a fight later this year that you could do a Ricky Hatton-esque crowd of, 30, 35,000? Is it that big?
What, in England?
Yep.
I don't know. That's a big ask, No. The arenas have, sold out pretty quick. The MEN and the O2 Arena are huge arenas, hold like 19,000. They've been sold out in the past. So, I don't know, it's a tall order, but who knows? It's possible.
Well, we know the Brits love their sports figures. And I don't know if MMA is there yet, But
Yeah,
boy, they go crazy over the boxers.
It's catching up all the time, you know. It's not quite, you know, say where, you know, where football or anything like that is, you know, but it's certainly catching on.
Michael Bisping with us. We'll get you out of here in 1 second. Tomorrow, the weigh-in. You can come check it out. Also, the Fan Expo. We're going to give away some more tickets to Mandalay Beach. It's Steve and Dave hanging out at the House of Blues. What do you think of the press conference? Anything? Was it kind of a boring press conference? We were kind of listening into it a little bit. It was a long one. I know that. Generally, they're kind of pretty straight-laced.
Yeah, no, it was, you know, it was, what can I say? It was a press conference, you know, it was great, it was just nice to be a part of it, you know, to be sat up there with some great fighters, you know, some legends in the sport, you know, just to be sat there and part of that, for me, was a great honour.
Does it mean anything to be part of UFC 100?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's an honour and a privilege, you know. And, you know, that gets thrown around, that expression a lot, you know, that it's an honour and this and that, but I really do mean it. Of course it is. To be on such a prestigious card for me as a fighter that dedicates my entire life to this sport, you know, it's kind of a validation for all the hard work and effort I've put in, you know.
So how come you came to Vegas so early? I know you were training at, the Tap Out Training Center. Why do you think it was important to get here early?
Well, you know, I mean, whenever I fight overseas, I always like to, you know, get out there early, acclimatise, adjust my sleeping patterns. Also, you know, I mean, I've got 2 kids at home, so coming out here early, you know, it got me away from all distractions, you know, so I could just eat, so I could just completely live the fight, you know. Literally, the last 4 weeks here has just been eat, sleep, train, nothing else.
It's not tough in Vegas to do that?
Well, you know,
obviously, you know, I'm not a fighter, but I'm a fatty, and I can't stay away from all the evils of Vegas.
Yeah, no, you know, you've just got to be disciplined, you know. I mean, I can do all the partying or celebrating whatever I want on Saturday night. You know, a lot of my friends say that to me. Actually, they say, you know, I mean, I don't drink for about 12, 13 weeks out from a fight, and they say, oh, does it not kill you? Know, in England, obviously, everyone loves going for a pint at the local pub, you know, and they say, oh, does it not kill you, and this and that. I'm like, no, it doesn't kill me. I get to perform in a sport that I love in front of millions of people, and I get paid good money for it, you know. I'll pass on the pint this afternoon, thanks, but I'll join you in 6 weeks.
There you go. All right. Hey, Michael, we appreciate it. Good luck in the fight. Looking forward to it.
Thank
I think
you
it's going to
very
be a
much.
great fight.
Appreciate it, guys.
There you go. Michael Bisping.
UFC 100 is here. It's the biggest event in UFC history. The tickets are impossible to get, but not totally. Hit either 3 tomatoes and a mozzarella this week. It's free to sign up, and you get extra entries if you take advantage of Bud Light and Tequila Cazadores specials at both 3 tomatoes and a mozzarella locations today through Friday. You can hit the North Las Vegas location at 945 West Craig or on the south side of town at 6485 South Rainbow. And you can join Steve Cofield this Friday night at the 945 West Craig Road location for your chance to win tickets to UFC 100.